Welcome back to JNS Daily Drives, everyone. Today we're going to be taking an in-depth look on this 2018 Hyundai KONA. In today's video, we're going to go over the exterior as well as the interior, go over some engine data, and talk about the overall specifications of this car. Now let's start with the front of the car here. Now, as you notice on the KONA, it has the nice grille here, along with all the new Hyundais that are wearing them now, as well as this nice little kind of grille piece up here. I mean, it doesn't really do anything, but it looks cool. Also, this nice radar cruise control thing right down there, as well as the nice vents down here to increase cooling into the engine. Now over here, if you come this way, we've got the nice LED fog lights here, which are unusual being that they're on top and not on the bottom of the headlights. And we have the headlights right here as well, with some more kind of fake vents that add for aesthetics, and a nice vent that pushes air into the tires to help with brake cooling. Now we move on to the side of the car, where we're greeted by these nice 18-inch alloy wheels, which are part of the ultimate package on the KONA. They look very sporty, got the nice two-tone look going on there. Now if you follow me further down the side, you can tell that this is a compact SUV. It is very small, but it still has the SUV characteristics, which make it, well, an SUV. Now if you follow me to the side here, we have these nice kind of chrome aluminum plates down here on the side, with this nice tangerine color, is what Hyundai calls it. I kind of like it, it looks very good. Now if you come further on back, we're greeted by this nice black stripe that comes from the rear passenger window all the way to the full rear window here. Now if you follow me all the way to the rear, we're greeted by another interesting look. Now the KONA it actually looks very wide, especially when you're up close on it. You've got these nice bulging parts of the bumper down here, as well as the nice deck lid spoiler here, which helps to reduce drag. Now what else do we have back here? We obviously have the 1.6 liter turbo badging there in the all-wheel drive. We'll talk about that a little bit more later. But we have these nice wraparound lights that are shown here. I'll show that a little bit later too, as well as some more rear fog lamps down here. Obviously, rear window wiper. It is an SUV, therefore, you know, a window wiper is essential. KONA badging here, very sleek. I actually really like the whole rear design of the car. It's got a nice wide look, and with these nice black accents located here and along the bottom of the bumper, I think it looks pretty good. Now that we're located at the rear of the car, let's go ahead and find out how much trunk space this car has by not only finding out how much it has right here, but doing a trunk test. It is really tight back here. That being said, I still do fit. There's a mark for Hyundai. Now we come to this side, where I'm going to show you a quick glimpse on the interior of the rear as well as the front. So let's take a look on the interior of the rear right now. As you can see, we have plenty of camera gear and stuff back here. Quite spacious, but we'll talk about that a little bit more later on. Now if you move on to the front of the KONA, we're greeted by, once again, a very spacious interior, very luxurious front amenities, especially with the Ultimate model. Talk about that a little bit more later as well. Now let's talk about the power plant in the KONA. Now it's available in two different options: the 2-liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder engine, or this, the 1.6 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine. Now that engine produces 175 horsepower and 195 pound-feet of torque. Let's go see what that looks like, shall we? Now here it is, the 1.6 liter turbocharged inline 4-cylinder engine. Let's hear how it sounds, hey? Now that we've heard how the engine sounds, let's go to the back and get a nice compact SUV exhaust clip. engine sounds, gotten a nice look at the exterior, and gotten an exhaust clip, let's go for a drive. Once again, I'd like to say a special thanks to Calgary Hyundai for loaning me this Kona for the day. Without them, none of these videos would be possible, so big shout out to them. If you saw my previous video, I talked about how they are extremely welcoming and super friendly no matter what car you're looking at, whether it be used or new. They got a huge selection of both. And I know that the staff are just going to be absolutely awesome with you. Go check them out, link in the description below, as well as the link to this exact car, which is for sale right now. So the 2018 Hyundai Kona, what is it? Well, it's Hyundai's compact SUV segment. Obviously they have the midsize SUV and the full-size SUV, but this is the compact. It's brand new for 2018, and trust me, this is a great car. Let's talk about the engine. Now, the engine is a 1.6 liter turbocharged inline 4-cylinder engine, producing 175 horsepower and 190 pound-feet of torque, as I mentioned earlier. Now, that's all mated to a 7-speed dual-clutch transmission, which you kind of, until recently, you only heard of dual clutches in, supercars. This thing shifts so fast if you're shifting it manually through the automated shift knob here, or if you're just in manual mode and you go to drive mode normal, it's so smooth. You do not feel the shifts at all. And I'm not lying when I say that you don't feel them at all. You literally do not feel them. Whether you're hammering it, you still don't feel them. The shift is that quick, your brain can't react that fast. As far as the engine itself goes, it's also very smooth. Being a nice turbocharged engine, you've got that nice smooth power. Obviously there is a bit of a jump. If I'm doing 68 kilometers an hour right now, I'm in drive, I'm in normal, and there's a tiny bit of lag between when you step on the throttle and when you actually get a response. Obviously that's just due to the turbo spooling up. Not a huge deal, but if I put it into sport mode, same thing happens a little bit quicker. Those turbos spool up a little bit faster, which means you have less and less turbo lag. Now let's talk about the comfort of this Kona Ultimate. Now, being the Ultimate, it does have these nice leather seats which are very soft and nice to sit in. They also hold you in pretty well with these side bolsters here. They have a nice 4-way lumbar adjustment here as well, only for the driver's side. The passenger side is manual operations. Now, in terms of overall ride quality, due to the fact that this is a bit of a smaller SUV, it is compact, you do feel a bit more of the bumps. Yeah, you feel them, but it doesn't really, it's not backbreaking or anything like that. Now let's talk about interior quality on the Hyundai Kona. Now, if you watched my video on the Santa Fe, I talked a little bit about how in my previous video, the Veloster, there was some hard plastic bits that, I think they could have improved upon. And in the Santa Fe, they had improved upon, but unfortunately in this car, I find, there's quite a bit of hard plastic here and there. It's these little things. If you just throw some of this faux leather on top of here, it might make a difference. That being said, however, everything else is really nice, especially in the Ultimate model. We've got the nice 8-inch screen here that I'll go over in a little bit, but we've got the nice seats. They're very comfortable. Power driver's seat, manual passenger seat here. Overall, very comfortable place to sit in. You feel very welcomed, and it's just a nice place to be. Now let's talk about the maneuverability of this Hyundai Kona. Now, it's small, it's quick, due to that 1.6 liter turbocharged engine, but how does it handle? How does it handle when you want to have a little bit of fun with your Kona on the weekend? Well, good news, I'm in sport mode. We're in a little section here. Let's find out. Here we go. Handles these corners extremely well. There's little to no body roll considering that it is, considered an SUV. Very planted. I like that about this car. You don't feel nervous going around these corners. You just feel very stable and very safe. It's impressive. Now let's talk about drivability. Now, I touched on a little bit how this car is, it's fun, it's easy to maneuver, but let's talk about what it would be like in the city. Now, if you were to drive this car in a very congested downtown area where it's very tight, you'd have no problems. This car is very small, but at the same time, it has all of the necessary storage compartments and luggage space that you would need with an SUV. Makes things really easy, especially when it gets, tighter and slower. It's just a good place to be. Really easy to drive. You simply turn the car on, put it in drive, and then just drive it. The steering's nice and light in normal mode. You know, you put it in a sport mode, it gets a little bit heavier. I like that. It's a nice artificial feeling depending on how you want to drive the car. Now let's talk about some of the options on the Hyundai Kona. Now obviously we're in the Ultimate model, so we have this nice 8-inch navigation screen here where I can click, I can go into my navigation there. I also have the 8-speaker Infinity sound system that's located all around the car, and I can tell you without being copyrighted that this is a great speaker. Great bass, great treble, sounds awesome. Another cool thing this car has is a nice heads-up display. And most heads-up displays, it's just a simple, you know, it reflects off the front window. But in this car, it actually has a nice little screen that pops up and you can actually fold it down. So if I press this I, H-U-D, it actually folds the screen down like that. It looks very cool and it works great. This car also has wireless charging capabilities. It works really well. You know, I've been putting my phone there and it works flawlessly. Also, another side note, if you turn the car off and you leave your device on the charging pad, it'll actually tell you in the instrument cluster that you've left your phone in there to charge. You should probably grab it before you lock your doors. Now let's talk about fuel economy on the Hyundai Kona. Now in the city, you're gonna average about 9 liters per 100 kilometer. And for an SUV, that is fantastic. Obviously, it's not hybrid or diesel levels of fuel economy. That being said, however, for a gas-powered SUV that's pretty quick and has a lot of space, that's phenomenal. Now let's talk about highway fuel economy. Highway fuel economy, you're gonna get about 8 liters per 100 kilometer on the highway. That's also fantastic. It's easy, you just set your cruise control, don't need to worry about gas. That all comes to a combined total of 8.6 liters per 100 kilometer, which for an SUV, amazing. Good job, Hyundai. Now I'd like to talk about the 3 things that I love the most about this Hyundai Kona and the 3 things that I think could be improved upon. Now let's start with the things that I love the most. Now number 1 has to do with the Ultimate package and all the different things you get. You get this massive screen here in the middle. You also have the nice heads-up display, which I can fold up and fold down just like that. You also have all of this safety technology built into this car, and I just love all of the technology that's built in to Hyundais these days, especially this car here. I think it's awesome, and that's why it's number 1. Number 2 is by far the ease of the drive. It's so easy to drive. Everything is where it's supposed to be. You know, if you need something, you have it at your hands. Honestly, you just put it into drive and push the gas. That's literally it. You don't really have to do a whole lot of thinking when you're driving this car. You know, Hyundai's worked out a way to make it so easy for anyone to drive this car, let alone, you know, someone who's been driving for quite a few years now. This could be a perfect car for somebody who's just learning how to drive because it's just so easy. It inspires so much confidence in you as a driver. And if I let go of the steering wheel, it'll actually keep me in the lanes. How cool is that? Keeps me in the lanes. It's that easy to drive. The third thing has to be the fuel economy of this car. Considering that it is a gasoline-powered SUV, it does phenomenally well on fuel consumption. Now, you might be saying you're giving up a little bit with, you know, only 175 horsepower. But let me tell you that 175 horsepower in a car that is this light is plenty. You don't need any more than this. You need the power, it's there, you go. The overtaking ability and just keeping it low in the fuel consumption range is just, it's mind-boggling to me. Now let's talk about the 3 things that I think could be improved upon the most. Now, number 1, it has to be, you know, I said this before in my Veloster video, is some of this hard plastic here. It's just, it's not very nice to the touch. It feels kind of cheaply made. You know, I think they could improve on that. You know, put other materials in it just to make it feel, you know, tighter. Number 3 is some of the exterior trim pieces look a little bit cheaply made. Like the kind of black surrounds and the black accents of the car. It looks a little bit, you know, cheap plastic. I think you could go maybe make it glossy and it might look quite a bit better. I especially like the paint colors though. I love those options on this car. I hope you guys liked the video on this 2018 Hyundai Kona today. If you did, make sure to leave a like and don't forget to subscribe to stay up to date to our videos and hit that notification bell so you get a notification when we upload next. We'll see you next time. Thanks. Now, one thing I'd like to include in this video is the sound the horn makes. It's kind of funny. Sounds like a boat. I'm standing outside the window. I'm standing outside